Good evening, everyone. As Sinead said when introducing me, I am Sean Toomey, and though originally from Dublin, I have been living in Cork for over 50 years. A lot longer than I lived in Dublin. That said, with no disrespect to my adopted city, I am still a Dub at heart. I celebrated my 83rd birthday on the 8th of this month. I never expected to live this long because, as a child and into adulthood, I had a lot of illness. Severe asthma, bronchitis, and several bouts of pneumonia. Modern medicine and certain life changes, one of which I will mention again later, turned my life around. And so I have managed to survive against the odds to become an octogenarian. 2015 was not a good year for me. I was very ill from February to April and was in hospital 3 times with double pneumonia. There certainly were times when I didn't think I would survive, but I did, just about. Thanks to my wife Joan's good cooking, I recovered very well physically, but wait a second, I'll find myself again. But my memory did not recover. Mind you, I didn't notice this memory loss in the beginning, but my wife and 4 children were very aware that at this stage, one of my, I was struggling to find words and had difficulty finishing sentences. At this stage, one of my 2 sisters, who had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's in 2010, was now in a nursing home and quite ill. In November 2015, my other sister was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. By then, I had become fully aware I was struggling with certain things like people's names, place names, turning on the TV, using the microwave, and so on. I knew it was time to bite the bullet and decided to get tested for Alzheimer's in the new year. My family was very relieved that I had made a decision, as it saved them the trauma of trying to persuade me to take that first difficult step. I had already decided not to drive the car again, another source of relief to my family, especially to my wife, who alleges she suffered several minor heart attacks in the car with me at the wheel. In my defense, as well as Alzheimer's, I had been diagnosed with glaucoma, which seriously compromises my vision. Well, that's my excuse anyway, and I'm sticking with it. In January 2016, after we discussed it with my GP, Joan made an appointment with geriatrician Dr. Paul Gallagher. The testing he did left no doubt that indeed I had early stages Alzheimer's. Some of you are familiar with these tests, I'm sure. Filling in the numbers on a clock face, for example, which I failed spectacularly. Counting back from 20 to 1 proved very challenging. I got as far as 1 to 15 before stalling and suggesting to the doc that really he should have asked me to count from 1 to 20, as nobody counts backwards. In the nicest possible way, he was having none of this. the inevitable diagnosis was gently and kindly delivered, and so began my journey as a person with dementia. Dr. Gallagher decided to try me on the medication donepezil. I have been one of the lucky ones for whom this medication has worked. I understand it doesn't suit everyone. Dr. Gallagher arranged a consultation for me with Martina Ager, an occupational therapist in St. Finbarr's Hospital. Martina and her team are amazing, and Joan and I very soon became aware that there is great support in Cork for people with Alzheimer's. We did a 6-week memory course with Martina, Nurse Siobhan Cahill, and 4 other couples this time last year. This was a very helpful course, and we were given many coping skills. Siobhan is available anytime for advice, and Joan has been in touch with her a few times. Martina advised us to contact Vanessa Bradbury, the South Cork Dementia Advisor, who is a lovely, helpful lady. She called to our home, and we had a very pleasant and informative evening with her. We found out a lot about the many support groups in the city, especially at Besborough Daycare Centre and at St. Finbarr's Hospital. Like Nurse Siobhan, Vanessa is always available for advice. We haven't had to bother her much up to now, but that will change, I imagine, as I deteriorate. So, be warned, Vanessa. Every few months, we have a meeting of the Southern Irish Dementia Working Group in the Fairgrove Hotel in Mitcheltown, which is arranged by Avril Easton of the Society of Ireland, of the Alzheimer's Society of Ireland. For those of you who are not familiar with this group, it is connected to the National Irish Dementia Working Group, which is facilitated by the Alzheimer's Society of Ireland. People living with dementia who form this working group help to raise awareness at national and international conferences, speak on radio and television, and lobby the government on the needs of people living with dementia. To advocate is imperative for people with dementia, and it's very important that people are able to speak up for themselves. I find meetings of the Southern Working Group very pleasant and informative. I would like to refer back now to something I mentioned at the beginning, one of the changes that turned my life around, and that is transcendental meditation, TM for short. I have been doing this twice a day for over 40 years, and I am convinced it is helping me now in dealing with Alzheimer's. It keeps me calm and prevents me from becoming frustrated when I say or do ridiculous things. Recently, I came across an interesting article by an American doctor, Dale Bredesen, who is a professor of neurology at UCLA. He is internationally renowned expert on Alzheimer's and is now recommending the TM technique as an essential part of treating Alzheimer's. He has written a book on it, and I have left copies on a table near the door of a leaflet about his methods of treatment. It would be very beneficial for all of us here tonight if all of us here tonight could do a mini meditation right now and find ourselves in a calm, Zen-like frame of mind. However, this can only be done with people who have learned the technique. For anyone who might be interested, there are TM centres all over the country with highly qualified teachers. At this point, I would like to say that 2 years into my Alzheimer journey, not a lot appears to have changed on the surface. Of course, I can't remember names of people and places. I forget what I have left, where I have left things, and my constant question to my long-suffering wife is, have you seen my glasses, cap, walking stick, whatever? That said, I still do my usual blue jobs. We have blue jobs and pink jobs in our house. Very sexist, it must be said. But I still manage to do mine. Things like putting out the bins on Friday nights, emptying the dishwasher and tumble dryer, and so far, everything ends up in its proper place. As I'm a very early riser, 6 a.m. usually, I get my own breakfast after I do my TM. Admittedly, Joan has it all laid out for me from the night before. But as a quid pro quo, I set the table for her breakfast when I have finished mine. Mind you, I have plenty time to do this because she never surfaces before 10:30. I still read a lot, which I find very good for keeping my brain active. It also passes the time. I go to the local shop most days for a few items. I go for walks, and as yet, Joan hasn't had to send out a search party for me. I like taking trips with Joan to familiar places I used to go to regularly in previous years. These trips really lift my mood. I enjoy them thoroughly, even though I'm often physically tired afterwards. We go to the cinema from time to time to see a good film on a large screen. One of the things we enjoy most is going to the live operas from the Metropolitan in New York. These are shown in cinemas around the world and are magnificent. They are screened in Mahon in Cork, where we see them. So, my life is far from dull. Early on in my talk, I referred to the many wonderful Alzheimer's support groups that we have in Cork. We are proud of these dedicated people, and we are most grateful to them. Another group I couldn't possibly manage without is my family. I know I would not be as good as I am today without the love, support, and patience of my wife, Joan, and my 4 children, Maeve, Nora, Emer, and Sean. Each one of them has helped me in so many ways, too numerous to mention here. I must also thank all my grandchildren who provide Joan and myself with welcome distractions. One of my grandchildren, Connor, who is with me now, and will be 19 soon, offers great help and support to myself and Joan. He stays with us during the week as he is studying engineering in UCC and is a very caring, helpful young man. We hardly know he is in the house until something goes wrong with one electronic gadget or another. He can solve those problems with amazing speed and efficiency and sorts out other little glitches in the house too. He's also a dab hand at putting in my glaucoma eye drops at night when Joan is out at bridge or meeting friends. It means her social life goes on as normal and she could even stay away overnight because Connor steps into the breach as her understudy. As you can see, I am truly blessed with my family. I would like to end my speech with a last piece of advice. If you have dementia or your family member does, my advice would be to keep active. Stay a part of the local community. Join a support group and don't be afraid to speak up for yourself. I also believe that it's good to be open about having dementia. I always tell people that I have the condition. I don't believe in hiding it away. There should not be a stigma around dementia. We should all be open about it as a society and talk about it more. Thank you all for listening so attentively to my experiences up to now in dealing with dementia.